I'm Sydney and welcome back to my Flock and Squawk. Today we are going to be looking at a How Do You Know When It's Love dating PSA from the 1950s. Last video we looked at what to do on a date, and then the one before we looked at approaching dating from the scenario of it's your first time dating. So the last couple have been focused on just dating in general. This one is more specific on how do you know that this is the person for you? How do you know that there is worthwhile time being invested in dating them? So it is made by the same company that made the last one, and it came out the same year as that one, which is 1950. So we're just going to be taking a quick look into, are we choosing the right guy? Or are we choosing the right girl? I haven't watched this video before, so let's get into it.
Hello, dear.
Hello, Mom.
Have a nice time?
I'll say. Jack's awfully handsome and such a smooth dancer. Mom, how can I tell if... how did you know when you were in love with Dad?
Oh, I've been in love several times before. I got so I could recognize the symptoms.
Several times?
Mm-hmm. And each...
Okay, so first off starting, oh my gosh, I've been in love several times. I know the symptoms. That comes off so funny. I don't know why that is as funny as I feel like it is, but it's not like a cold where you have definite doctor prescribed symptoms. Well, not prescribed, but doctor recognized symptoms, scientific things. Love is an emotion of sorts, but it's also not like flu-like symptoms, it's not such a distinct category. But let's hear what this mother has to say.
Each time I thought I'd found my Prince Charming. Most people fall in love quite a few times in their lives.
Well, then, how can you tell when you're really in love?
Well, I'll have to think about that. Let's save it tomorrow, shall we?
All right.
I have fallen in love multiple times. I know the symptoms. But, I gotta think about that, and we'll talk about it later. That's kind of funny, just how it starts out. And I apologize if you hear anything. It's likely either the cat's in my room with me, or the fact that I have a baby monitor set up for my puppy, which is downstairs in her crate, still sleeping. But I have the baby monitor so I can hear her when I'm upstairs and sleeping. It'll wake me up. So let's get back into this PSA type video.
Good night.
Good night, dear.
Most people fall in love quite a few times. I wonder if Jack knows that.
I tell you, Bob, I haven't dated any girl but Nora in 2 months. We're really in love.
Uh-huh. And you were really in love with Betty and Mary and Alice and I don't know who else. And there'll be others, I suppose.
Oh, no. That's over with. You know, Bob, Nora's the prettiest girl I've ever known. She's just as beautiful as...
Beautiful. And you think that's all that matters? Oh, hurry up and get in bed, will you?
Bob, did you feel this way when you fell in love with Jean?
Oh, look. I've felt that way lots of times. The trouble with you is, you don't seem to understand what love is really about. You young punks go to the movies a couple of times, do a little necking, and you think you're in love. I've never seen anything like it.
All I wanted to do was ask. You don't have to get sore about it, do you?
Oh, I'm sorry, Jack, but look at it this way. You just haven't been around enough to know what love really is. Believe me, it's nothing like the slush they give you in the movies.
So, it showed Nora with her mom and being like, but how do you really know? Do you fall in love multiple times? And then it cuts over to her date and being like, oh yeah, you felt this way about this person, this person, this person, this person. But how do you know it's really true? Like, looks aren't everything. And, it's not just like you kissing someone in the movie theater and then you're in love. Which, that's fair, but it's also kind of funny that from the girl's vantage point, it's like, is it really love? And then from his, and I assume his brother that he's sharing a room with, or his roommate of some sort, it's just like, yeah, but you've dated these people and you felt, over the moon about that, but, one pretty girl after another, and you don't even know what love is. So I think it's interesting that they're taking, like, two different approaches and both calling them, like, not knowing what love is. So the guy, it's like he's been in love with multiple girls, and the girl doesn't even know if she has been in love with any guys. So I think that's kind of like an interesting, dichotomy of, like, not knowing if you've been in love and then feeling like you've been in love with multiple people that you've dated or gone out with.
Well, I don't know, Bob.
That's right. You don't know. Maybe you would understand better if... Say, I've got an idea. How'd you like to double date with Jean and me tomorrow night?
Why, sure, Bob. That would be swell. Sure you wouldn't mind?
Not if you let me get some sleep now. Good night.
Good night.
I'll teach you what love is if you'll double date with us tomorrow. I just think that's a little goofy.
Oh, Jack, that sounds like loads of fun. See you tonight. Goodbye. Guess what, Mother? Jack and I are going on a double date with Jack's brother Bob and his girlfriend. They're engaged and so much in love. Jeannie has the most beautiful diamond.
Oh, that's fine, dear. I've met Bob. I think he's awfully nice.
Oh, I do, too.
And speaking of love, weren't you and I going to talk about that today?
Yes, we were.
I've been thinking about your question, and, well, suppose we look at these snapshots together,
Snapshot?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do they have to do with love?
Oh, I was just thinking that they might help you to understand how your capacity for love grows and develops just as you grow and develop. Here.
So another point to be made is that they'd followed the short and sweet, yes, that sounds great, and the phone call. Kind of loose rule that we learned in the first video. And then the mom's like, let's look at the photo album. That'll show you how love grows. So it's kind of interesting, and I do think that, like, looking at old photos can help demonstrate, like, the love and compassion you have for people around you, because love can grow. But I do think it's interesting that the photo album as the first sort of like step of teaching love and what it means to be in love if it's the right one. So let's continue on, see what's in the photo album.
Look at this one.
Oh, Mother, did you have to keep that?
You know, in a way, you were in love even then. Every baby loves its parents for their care and protection. Of course, some people expect that care and protection all their lives. They never grow up. But it is a kind of love. Now, compare that with this picture.
Oh, that's the boy who used to live next door. My, how he did love his teddy bear. Love?
That's right. That's a kind of love, too. Possessiveness. A love for the things you own.
Some of us never get over being possessive when we're in love, do we?
You're beginning to understand. Now,
They aren't wrong about multiple
here's
types
a
of
snap
love.
that shows how we learn to return love by doing things for others.
Well, what about love of our friends? Isn't that a stage of love?
Yes, I think it is. Here, look at this.
Why, that's Betty and Ellen and Ann. I took that picture with my first camera. Oh, I know. There was a time when I wouldn't look at anyone but my special friend. I guess that was a stage of love.
Yes, and boys go through a similar stage when they stick together in gangs and won't have anything to do with girls.
We soon changed that.
Now,
they
let's
aren't wrong.
see.
There are multiple types of love that have been
Oh, do you remember this
expressed and
picture?
documented.
The captain of the football team. That was 2 or 3 years ago. He never knew how much I loved him. I guess he never knew I existed at all.
Well, we all go through crushes like that on teachers or sports stars or movie stars.
You can have a crush. on
Then
a
after a
teacher. I think
while,
it's
there's
kind
a
of funny
stage
they
that
acknowledge that.
some people call puppy love.
Why, that's Morris. I'd almost completely forgotten that.
Remember how important it seemed at the time?
I'll say.
And it really was important as a part of learning how to love and be loved.
I think I can tell puppy love. Oh, look. There's the couple who met at camp last summer. I certainly caught them.
Yes. And that's another stage where the physical
I
side
think
of
it's
love
kind of funny how
dominates.
they have so many pictures.
Sometimes
of
this is mistaken for
people that
mature
they
love.
or
But
have
there's
had
a
crushes
difference.
on.
Mature love.
It's not just like a
That's a
family
new
album.
way of thinking about it. How can you tell when love is mature?
Well, mature love is more settled. Mature love has something of the other kind of love in it and something more. It's tender, unselfish, cooperative.
When I get serious about somebody, Mom, I want to have that kind of love.
That's a good idea, dear. And if you aren't sure, you can always ask yourself some questions.
What are the
Are we
questions?
really interested in the same things? Do we feel at ease together? Are we proud of each other? Do we agree on the basic things such as religion, marriage, children, money, and so on?
Thanks, Mother. I know that.
So, I feel like it's very, like, those questions still matter today. Like, do you have the same basic values of, like, marriage, children, money, religion? Like, those are very relevant questions. Do you feel at ease? Yes, you want to feel comfortable with them. You don't want to be going into a relationship or being in a relationship that you don't feel comfortable in. I know there are plenty of cases where people are in relationships that don't feel comfortable, and honestly, maybe it's a different kind of one of the loves outlined, but I feel like that question is very relevant. It's not diminishing anyone's feelings, it's just asking yourself seriously on if this relationship should continue in the way it is. And I feel like those questions definitely are good starting points and help reflecting on your relationship, because you can have the same values as someone and not feel comfortable in their presence all the time. So maybe I feel like those are relevant. I feel like I've seen that sort of thing reflected on Pinterest before. So let's finish out the video and see what other advice, if she decides to be with that guy. I believe his name is Jack, but let's just check out the rest of this dating, marriage, choosing the right partner video.
It'll help.
I hope so, dear.
Are we really interested in the same things? Do we feel at ease together? Are we proud of each other? Are we agreed on basic things? I wonder. I'm going to watch Bob and Jean, see if they have a mature love.
Jack, how does it like to go about? I've never seen a Chinese doorman before in my life. He's been here for quite some time.
Oh, I'm having a wonderful time. I've never been here before. Oh, we're so glad you could come.
This is one of our favorite spots.
Yes, we sort of found it together, you might say, and we come here quite often. Oh, the real Chinese dishes are over here.
Thanks, Bob. Oh, Bob, look what came today.
What? Oh, the season tickets for our concert series.
And guess what? You're going to have to sit through another concert by that young French pianist you didn't like.
You mean the same one we saw last season?
That's right. And maybe this year you'll agree with me that he has real talent.
Well, maybe. But only if he's improved.
Oh, Bob. Well, at least we'll have fun debating it.
Do Bob and Jean have a mature love? Another question Mom asked. Do we feel at ease with each other?
You know, there's no telling what we'll get, but I'm willing to take a chance if you are.
Oh, that's the fun of it, Bob. What about some of this watercress salad?
That's a fine idea.
Bob and Jean certainly are at ease with each other.
You gotta remember these are teenagers.
But what about us?
And that they've been dating exclusively.
Well, I've made up
for
my
2
mind.
months.
I'm going to have the leg of lamb.
Oh, well, I thought it would be fun to try a Chinese dish.
That's all right if you like that stuff. Me, I'll stick to the lamb.
Well,
Oh, come on, Nora. Take a chance with us on the lobster cantonese.
oh, I'd like that. No, I don't always feel at ease with Jack. He's so unpredictable. I guess I am, too. We don't really know each other. And Mom talks about being proud of each other. I wonder if I could ever be as proud of Jack as Jean is of Bob. Not right here and now, maybe. But he does have his point. When he gets out on that ball diamond, anybody would be proud of him. But I wonder if we'd ever agree on basic things.
Jack, you know who I saw today? I saw Bill Johnson and his wife. You know, they've got a fine pair of little kids. They dress them up like cowboys.
Kids are such fun. Don't you think so, Nora?
Well, Oh, here's the waiter with our soup. Children. Oh, we've never talked about things like that. Or religion, or marriage, or money. Bob and Jean really understand each other. They do have a mature love.
So I like that they sort of gave the example of like these people do in fact have a mature love, and I do like the banter that they showcased of like they don't necessarily agree on every point, but they have a great conversation, they like interact nicely, and then the uncomfort that Nora is showcasing about being on a date with Jack. So I do feel like the PSA makes sense, but also it's kind of like they've been together 2 months. Like, to an extent, yes, they could know if they are in love, but also, like, 2 months isn't a very long time in the scheme of things. Like, if you're picking someone to spend your life with, I think that 2 months is a little short for some people. Maybe for them it would be the right amount of time to know, but, like, for me, I'm not sure that 2 months would be the appropriate amount of time for my comfort of knowing if it was a mature love, as they put it. But, you know, like, some relationships just hit off right off the bat. So maybe for them, 2 months would be a good point to reflect on if it is love or not. So let's finish the last little bit and see what Nora decides.
Nora,
About our talk at the dance last night. In the garden, you know. Well, what time?
about 8:15.
Oh, swell. I'll see you then. Thanks for this evening. Good night.
Good night.
So my camera that I was using to record did in fact die with the battery, but we can still wrap up the last thoughts on Nora's date. So I do feel like they sort of went with what I was saying of like 2 months might be a little too short of time for them to fully decide that they are in fact a mature love. But I do like that they ended things with we can still hang out and have fun, and you know, maybe the future is out there for us. Or, you know, if we stay friends, like there was nothing adversarial about that last interaction. So I really appreciate that they were showing something, you know, just two kids in love, potentially, and then being like, you know what, we can still hang out, we can still be friends, 2 months, after seeing your brother and his fiance, it's pretty clear that maybe we aren't to that point. So I think that was very interesting, and I appreciate that sort of perspective that it gave, because that's still very relevant. I don't feel like anything in this PSA, nor the other PSAs, was abhorrent. Nothing too crazy. But with that being said, I feel like we should look at some other PSAs sometime and, check them out more. Check out more of what the 1950s has in store with these teenage-driven PSAs. See if we can find one that is a little more racy next time. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in more and flocking and squawking with me some other time, please leave a comment below, and if you want, subscribe. So thank you for watching. Have a great day.